Today we're here at Westminster Abbey in London, England, and we're here with Mark Birch. He's the Canon Rector of the Westminster Abbey, and he also has another really important job as Chaplain to the Speaker in Parliament. And maybe you could tell us what those two jobs are.
Okay, yes. So I'm a Canon of Westminster. So I'm part of the chapter, part of the governing body of the Abbey, with all that goes with that. But I also have a role across the road. So you've just seen the sort of east end of the Abbey and a little bit of the Palace of Westminster across the road. So yes, I work for the Speaker over there, the Speaker of the House of Commons, our elected chamber. And there's been a long tradition since at least the 17th century of daily prayers said before each day's business. So they have a little moment to draw breath and remember the Almighty before they begin their serious business of debating with one another. I also have a sort of a pastoral brief over there, so I'm a bit like the Rector of the Palace of Westminster, so some sort of pastoral care of members and their staff. There's a wonderful little chapel over there where occasionally I do baptisms and weddings, and there's a weekly Eucharist there as well. So yeah, I have a really varied work.
It seems like a lot of work. Well, I mean, just even preparing prayers for every single day, and it must be difficult too. Just you're in the public eye. I mean, so tell us a little bit about how you compose those prayers. Do you just find a quiet place, or is there like such a standard form that it doesn't require much creativity? How is that?
It's a pretty standard form, yeah. But within that, I try to sort of lean into particular issues, just things that I really feel we should be keeping in our prayers. That can be controversial. Yeah. It's actually very hard over there to say anything that isn't taken politically, that people don't think is leaning into one side or the other. So yeah, I have a few scars.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Who would imagine that prayers would give you scars?
Yeah. Well, I also think too, just that pastoral part also, I can imagine that there are members of the House of Parliament that may not feel very connected to their religious community, and you are the only pastor they have. So I wonder if you can talk a little bit about just how do you provide that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what we're recognising with our members of Parliament, the enormous pressures they're under. We all know that social media means that they're getting very, very rapid and sometimes very unprocessed thoughts about what they are or aren't doing, and the personal toll of that is huge. I think the Speaker has a particular concern for the well-being of members, and he sees me very much as part of trying to just improve their well-being, be there for them when they need it. So we hold things like, there's a weekly Eucharist over there, and there are often little conversations at the end of services there, just giving a sense of what people are living with, and I can at least assure them of my prayers. Occasionally people will ask to sit down and have a more in-depth conversation, maybe some private prayer time together. The other thing that seems to meet a need is that there's a weekly prayer breakfast here at the Abbey for MPs, and there's a group of regulars and one or two others who come every now and again, and again just an opportunity for them to be MPs together, sharing the burdens and the joys of their work, and the particular challenge of being people of faith in that.
Yeah, it's so interesting. As you speak, I mean, that was one of the things that I learned about our own legislature, the national legislature. Your representatives are going home by jet, and so they're not together as much. I hadn't thought of it, but part of what you're doing is bringing together people from different political persuasions. It's another chance to kind of build bridges.
I really hope so. Yes. No, that's
the goal.
That is our aim. That is our goal. Yes, and we're trying to. So the Abbey is really trying to be as good a neighbour as it can possibly be with Parliament. So I'm just a little part of that, really. There's a department of the Abbey called the Abbey Institute that does a lot of work with public servants in the public square more generally. But we have a particular focus on Parliament. So they're doing some wonderful work, inviting members and their staff over to come and have a tour of the Abbey, a kind of a public service related tour. And we're organising a big reception for members of Parliament, hopefully in the new year. So just trying hopefully to let MPs know that we are there for them.
Yeah.
There's really just a road between us, but we're actually, we're designed to be together. Edward the Confessor, who kind of set this place up, built an abbey, built a palace together to be centres of prayer and politics, and we want to make sure that we're in that kind of really creative relationship and supportive relationship.
Yeah, we have an Edward Confessor stained glass window in a very prominent location. The cathedral.
Very glad to hear it. He unites amazing places all around the world.
Yes, I can imagine. But and tell us about some of the challenges that Westminster Abbey is facing too. I mean, it's such a complicated organization with so many hundreds of thousands of people visit here. How do things look from a position of this?
We are so blessed, really, to be a place that so many people want to come to, want to come and see. We're now having to limit numbers of tickets each day, just because the fabric of the Abbey struggles with the number of people coming through. We had a fabric commission meeting just yesterday where we were discussing, what we sort of lacquers that we can put on parts of the floor just to preserve it a little bit. So there's a lot of physical strain on the building. We have fantastic staff too. We have about, I think it's about 350 on the staff who do an incredible job trying to manage that number of people, but trying to make sure that then when they come here, they're not just coming to a visitor attraction, that they have some sort of sense that this place is more than that. And it's St Benedict's Day today. We're very mindful that we were a Benedictine foundation for 500-600 years. So that sort of hospitality, greeting the visitor as Christ, that's hopefully in our DNA, and we hope that people. The strapline is always, they come as visitors and they leave as pilgrims. If we could ever do that, then I think we'd be fulfilling our.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of pilgrims. If you went and talked to all the people standing in line on the other side of this building, I think you would find a lot. And they may not even have the language to talk about that yearning for the transcendent, the connection to the spiritual.
Absolutely. And we always tell those who don't manage to get a ticket, we always say, please come to Evensong. We sing Evensong. Actually, these days we're singing 7 days a week, which is fabulous, because we now have a fantastic girls' choir that sing on a Wednesday. So we say, come and join us for worship wherever you're coming from, as it were, in your whatever you identify with, because Evensong is just that sort of. It's just that wonderful thing that you can participate fully if you want to, but if you want to just sit back in your stall and enjoy the music and enjoy the building and the architecture, that's great. God speaks through it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're so lucky to have somebody who is so carefully attuned to liturgy as you, in this role as a chaplain.
Yeah. So I became a canon just last November. Before then, I was the precentor, minor canon role. So I had a little bit to do with the coronation and with the Queen's funeral before that, which was just extraordinary.
How was that?
It was an incredible ride. The funeral had to be. We had 10 days basically to put it on. There were plans in place, I'm glad to say, which worked better than any of us imagined. Just feeling like you were in that moment in history. I remember standing at the west door of the Abbey as the funeral procession was coming from Westminster Hall, just over here, and there was a huge band of bagpipers, and just that sound is stirring anyway. But to hear them coming into view, and then the Queen's the carriage and all this coming in, the hairs on the back of your neck.
Yes,
standing
I was
up.
going to say the exact same thing in my own way.
Yeah.
We watched you on television at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
Grace
thank you.
Cathedral on the big screen. And we had a big party with the Consul General's office too.
Oh, very good. No, but there was a sense of an amazing sense of the world watching, which is overwhelming. And I met President Biden.
Oh, great.
It was afterwards. I was just heading to take off my coat, and I was flattened to the wall by some fairly hefty security guys. In walked President Biden, who saw me sort of hiding behind us, and made a point of shaking my hand and saying that was really beautiful. So I was very, very touched.
Well, thank you so much for your stewardship of this great place.
It's a great honour and a privilege, huge privilege.
So we're here at Westminster Abbey with Mark Birch, who's the Canon Rector for the Cathedral, and also the Chaplain to the Speaker in Parliament. And my name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching More Good News.